Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. Today we have a Zerg versus Zerg from the round of 16 of the Homestar Heroes clan hosted event that was posted on Playhem.com. On the Playhem website. Go Google Playhem, it's a great site. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and introduce these players up here in the top left-hand corner of TPW Artifice. We have the yellow Zerg. His name is VAPORproftwo. VAPORproftwo. And he's going to be very careful of those Baneling hits from his opponent. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner as the teal Zerg. His name is Valon. Very similar to Talon, but actually just switching it with his V, because you gotta switch it up every so often, especially in a mirror matchup where you gotta be a little bit unpredictable, man. You can't always just be doing the same thing. Sometimes you gotta go here, sometimes you gotta go there. But for now, looks like the Overlord paths are going to be pretty predictable. It's going to be scouting each other out, and looks like they're going to actually get lucky with the first scout. Now, this is actually a pretty early drone scout from VAPORproftwo. I'm probably just going to be calling Vapor. So we have Vapor versus Valon, and not that these players have played this, or actually, I don't actually know if Vapor has played this map, but it looks like Valon has not, and it's not too surprising. This map is very, very uncommon to be seen. Haven't really seen it in a lot of really big tournaments, but just kind of going about it, we do have this pretty actually wide open natural, in the sense that the actual space around the natural is pretty open, but there is still this kind of nice choke that you can maybe do some kind of cutesy wall offs with an Evo chamber and some queen, or Evo chamber, roach warren, queen, roaches, whatever. So we can see some kind of cool stuff. We do see spawning pools going down around the same time from both of these players, and it looks like at least Valon is already mining that gas. So is Vapor, and actually it looks like these players are going for relatively similar builds, although Valon seems to have gotten his gas just a tad bit earlier than his opponent. So what that does mean is he might have the jump start and gain that Zergling speed upgrade that we oftentimes see in this match, as it is very difficult to make your Zerglings quite as effective as your opponents without that Zergling speed, especially if you decide to overcommit. Zergling speed versus speedless Zerglings means that you never get to run away, and it's pretty frustrating. But looks like we're not going to be seeing that for now. It looks like this drone is saying, to hell with all the rules, I don't need to wait for Zerglings, I'm going to kill your extractor, you're not going to have any never mind. And the drone ends up dying to those Zerglings that do pop out, as well as that queen, but he does get a pretty nice scout off. Gets to see that the Zergling speed is actually researching, if he was paying very close attention to that little shimmering that does go on in that spawning pool. But in the meanwhile, it looks like a Baneling nest going down, as it looks like Valon's Zerglings did move out a little bit across. No, it doesn't look like they're moving out across the map just quite yet, but he does have these Zerglings ready in position out over by his natural, which he is taking. And at the same time, it looks like Vapor, having his Overlord already there, spotted that, did also decide to take his natural, but he is not going for that Baneling nest. No, he's going directly for the Roach Warren. So what this is going to mean is that Valor is going to have a timing where he is going to be able to put on some good pressure onto Vapor. He has to utilize those Banelings before Vapor is really able to get out a nice solid Roach count to easily defend against those Zerglings and Banelings. As Zerglings and Banelings, they can do okay against very small numbers of roaches, but once you start escalating up the higher and higher roach counts, it can be very, very difficult. And it looks like Valon knows this. He is sending out his Zerglings. His Baneling nest is already finished. He's already morphing a couple of Banelings. He's going to try and put on as much pressure as possible. How many units are out for Vapor? No Zerglings. Only 3 roaches in production. Looks like these Zerglings are going to be able to snipe off this queen without too much of an issue. Are any Zerglings? No. No Zerglings left over by the natural. Looks like there's a spine call going down over there. But the drones are forced to come out. The roaches are now popping. But it's going to be very, very difficult. There are going to be heavy drone losses unless there's some superb micro, and it looks like even though the micro is pretty good, you can see so many drones in the low health, and those drones are actually getting nicely target fired down by Valon, so a massive amount of damage. 11 workers already killed by Valon, and it looks like the worker count for Vapor is reduced down to just 12, so this might actually be a very short game indeed. As you know, honestly, at this point in time, all Valon has to do is say, hey, as long as I defend, I'm going to throw down this, the spine crawler, make sure that you can't just spam this massive influx of roaches and try and, like, counterattack me for the win. Going to produce additional Zerglings, and really, he's going to be feeling to be in a very nice position at this point in time. He is a little bit supply blocked at this point in time, is going to have those 2 overlords popping in just a little second, but again, Valon does have that massive drone lead, which, the gap is now kind of getting narrowed down just a little bit. But that is allowing Valon to give the time to get down that evolution chamber and mine additional gas. And it's going to be very difficult for a Vapor to mine that gas. As you can see, he only has 1 drone on gas. Just because, when you're down to 12 drones, if you have 3 drones on gas, that's a fourth of your economy mining gas instead of minerals. It can be very difficult. So, looks like Vapor saying, I'm just gonna stop wasting your time and all this stuff. I think Valon was asking him to GG. Don't think it's gonna happen, at least not quite yet. As it looks like, despite everything I've been saying, he is catching up a little bit in that drone count. If you can get very, very lucky with some nice micro, getting some good Zergling kills, he might actually be able to come back into this game. The supply gap is actually starting to narrow down as well, and we're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. Looks like there is that evolution chamber going down for Vapor. The Zerglings are getting ready for a second round of counterattacks. They're not going to be able to really run up the ramp, but they're going to be able to pick off a couple of these drones over here. The Spinecrawler poking a couple of Zerglings, but just really not doing damage fast enough. I think 1 drone was end up being lost over there, potentially 2, but it looks like these drones are making a nice little concave around that queen, making sure that queen is well protected from the Zerglings. Don't think that they really realize what their job is in life, and it's not to protect the queen. But anyways, it looks like the Zerglings are going to be fended off for now. So a good job from Vapor, doing some nice positioning on the ramp with those roaches, and a couple of his own Zerglings. Does have a nice positioning on that spine crawler. This is actually going to create a very nice little wall. I think that this is actually a gap that Zerglings can run through, but it will make it a little bit harder for them to do so. He can position the queen right around here and make it so I think that there's only this little gap that the Zerglings can run through, and really just kind of filter how much damage can be done by those kind of run-by attacks. Looks like this drone is moving out to take a 3rd, and this is kind of an interesting decision. Vapor definitely feeling a little bit behind still. He does have that lair attack done a little bit ahead of his opponent, I believe. Actually, no, it doesn't look like it. But still, he is going to be taking that 3rd a little bit earlier. No, actually, forget everything I'm saying. It looks like Valon already taking his 3rd. And Vapor really just responding in favor. I'm not sure that he really has the scouting information on it, but he knows that he needs to try and keep up, or at least try and get some kind of advantage in this game, as he's still lacking a little bit on that drone count. We can see is still about 10 or so drones behind, and he really still needs to do something about it. At this point in time, the Overseer is going to get a very nice scout off on everything. He's going to see, hey, you have a lair done. That's kind of cool. You're getting some upgrades, and really he's probably looking to see if there's any kind of lair tech already down. Looks like that queen is going to be able to pick him off before he really gets a good scout off on the remainder of the creeps. I think that there might be a possibility that there's some tech structure around here, but honestly, actually, probably got a pretty gosh darn good scout off on his opponent. Not going to be too worried about any kind of hidden tech. But one thing that might be nice for Valon is knowing whether or not this 3rd is down. And same kind of story for Vapor. He doesn't really know that this 3rd is down either. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening, what these players think that the other one is doing. And it looks like Vapor might actually be a little bit supply blocked at this point in time. Oh no. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Misreading the 65 of 86 supply is 65 of 66. But still, Vapor pretty gosh darn far and behind in supply at this point. It looks like Valon has finally started producing a couple of roaches of his own that is going to allow him to shoot up in that supply, as roaches take up quite a bit of supply. So, really now the kind of advantage that Valon has from that early game aggression is kind of coming to fruition. He also has that nice drone count, so it's going to be very dangerous for Vapor in the near future if Valon does decide to attack anytime soon. But it looks like it's going to be the opposite. Vapor doing a little bit of aggression with some of these Zerglings of his own, able to pick up the Queen at the third, doing some good damage, and it looks like there are about 5 roaches that just kind of say, oh hell no, and decide to just pick up and run. The Zerglings do a bit of damage to those drones, but really I don't think it was entirely worth it. He did do a nice job kind of keeping Valon back a little bit, but honestly, he lost a couple of his roaches. He saw how huge that roach army from Valon is, and ended up actually sacrificing a couple of his Zerglings and roaches that he's definitely going to be needing for the eventual attack that we're definitely going to be expecting to come. We can see that despite the fact that Valon does have that lair tech, and she's not throwing down any kind of lair tech, just really use that to get that roach speed upgrade. That's also very important. Now also morphing a couple of banelings, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see Valon looking to move out very, very soon. We do see a Hydralisk Den now just popping out, so it looks like he might be wanting to reinforce with Hydralisk, but he's going to go ahead and push out, and I'm not sure that the army for Vapor is going to be big enough. We're going to have to wait and see. He does have an infestation bit going to, or just finishing up just now, so we will be able to produce a couple of infestors, but they're not going to have that very, very important pathogen glands upgrade that's going to allow him to do those. Oh my god, the banelings actually all exploding on those Zerglings, getting some okay damage on the roaches, but really not that great. Only a couple of roaches actually end up taking that a whole lot of damage, and now with the entire army of Vapor completely vaporized, he's going to be looking to be in a very rough position. The Baneling nest for Vapor does go down. Only roaches in production for Vapor, but he realizes the game is over, the jig is up, and that is going to be GG. So it looks like Valon advancing to the round of 8 in the Homestar Hero clan-hosted tournament. So very well played by him. We're going to be seeing some more of him in the future for certain. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this cast. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You are already there. You don't need to go anywhere. If you do also enjoy this, I do have some live events that I like to do, including an Amazon intern versus full-timer show match. That's going to be happening Friday, July 13th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you have any replays that you want casted, you can go ahead and submit those to spheredragon64@gmail.com. I will be casting all of them, so please just send them in. I will be raking them in like they were just like dough, I guess, as if I was Sundance trying to look for dough to buy my new boat. But anyways, that's going to be it. So that's all from me, and I'll see you guys next time.